and welcome back to the Talkoffame podcast. I'm Kyliemontigney, and this episode I've been seriously been dying to do for such a long time. I've been following her work for a while now, and I'm super excited to have this conversation. And I'm also super excited. I'm going to say super excited for a lot during this interview, probably. But I'm so excited to introduce Selin Ozunaldim. How you say? Is that how you say, or how do you kind of pronounce
So my first name is just like English, Celine, Celine Dion. But my last name is even tricky for Turkish people. It's Ozunaldim.
All right,
But
I'm going to restart my questions. I'm like,
okay, like if you can't do it, it's fine because every time, like even with Turkish people, they have to go, is it what? So it's
you're
like
like,
fine.
huh? You're like,
They're like,
huh?
what?
Yeah. Yeah. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Talk of Fame podcast. I'm Kylie Latini, and this episode has been seriously been dying to do for such a long time, and I've been following her work for like a long time now. Her work is seriously amazing, and I've been dying to do this conversation. And I'm super excited to introduce Selin Ozunaldim, who is a founder of Girl Up and Girls Who Code and co-founder of Girls Who First. Girl Up is a leadership development initiative welcoming girls and youth of all gender identities to advance gender justice worldwide, and Girls Who Code are trying to change the face of tech. Also, she's a national youth activist for UN Women. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Everything like you Cecily are doing is amazing. And how are you? Are you most importantly?
Thank you so much, and thank you like for your kind words and for this invitation. I wouldn't have missed it. Again, like we've talked about this before, but I just love doing stuff for youth-led movements, youth-led organizations, and especially if the person in charge is a girl, I'm like always on board, like anything you want.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like
on it.
everything if it's like girls and youth, I'm for it for sure. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm in immediately.
100%. So I'm doing great, thank you. It's a little hot in Turkey right now. It's 33 degrees, but
Oh,
it's fine. Climate change. Remember the
mm,
time where we cut all those trees? Yeah,
mm.
that did not end well, but
Yeah, for sure. Like with me, it's like all my neighborhood is like surrounded with trees. So I'm like, you better not cut it down for me,
yeah.
please. I honestly, I want to get hotter because it's already like hot here in Pennsylvania. That's like it's like 80 degrees one day, 70, 60. Like even if it's summer, there's like one day it's like hot, sunny. Next day it's like probably like 60 rainy. I'm like, are you serious? Like it changes every single day.
Yeah, I relate too hard.
Who does
Too
relate,
hard.
honestly? Like everyone has to relate to like different types of weather, like 80 degrees sunny, then 60 degrees rainy. Like it's always like changing every single day, whether it's like in the summer. Like this summer's actually have been pretty crazy in terms of like hot weather, cold weather. It's like it's been kind of all over the place.
Yeah, 100%. Again, climate change, although some people still deny it, and I don't see how you can like deny a scientific fact, but that's what
Mhm.
people are up to nowadays. And claiming that
Exactly.
Earth is flat.
Yeah. Yeah, like how did you I'm kind of curious, like how did you kind of like your how did you like your passion start to kind of empowering girls, especially youth?
So, I feel like I've always been very interested in stuff like gender equality and empowering women and girls, like as a girl myself, obviously.
Mhm.
And I knew this was an important topic. I knew what feminism was, like give it or take. But the thing is, I realized that I didn't really pay attention until one occasion happened, which was we were having a family dinner, very casual one, and talking about future and university and jobs, etc. And my brother, who was like 6 or 7 years old at the time, just said, "You know what? You don't have to worry too much and stress too much about this, because if you cannot get into a good college or cannot get like a well-paid job, you can always get married and your life would be saved and spared. This
Mhm.
is like working and going to university is an option for women.
Yeah.
Though for men, it is mandatory because we have to be like the breadwinners of the house. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just so shocked when he said that because, again, he was like 6 or 7 around those ages, where you don't really know about misogyny, not intentionally, or the gender gap, etc.
Yeah.
But, and I personally always felt like I grew up in a very open, inclusive, diverse family, a
Mm-hmm.
very, we always care about gender equality and women empowerment. Um, so I was very shocked when he said that. And that was a moment when I realized this issue that we're facing is much bigger than I have anticipated or realized, because it
Mm-hmm.
is such an issue, such a normalized thing in society, such a social norm, that it is buried in a little child's thought structure,
Mm-hmm.
even though he doesn't see that from our circle, our family and friends, he witnesses that in the television, like in movies, books, and
Mm-hmm.
with his friends, maybe, I don't know, in school, etc. So I thought, you know what? He and like his generation will be the leaders of tomorrow. And I don't want that thought structure, that mindset to be the leaders of tomorrow. We need to change something. This is the 21st century. So that was like kind of the spark for me. And I got in touch with my school and our principal to talk about what we could do. And I found the he for she movement, which is initially started by UN Women. And after doing a little research, I saw that he for she was not performing as active clubs amongst high schools. And I said, you know what? Why don't we start this? Why don't we bring this to high schools and start active clubs? And with my high school support, with our principals and vice principals and teachers, they were incredibly supportive. Me and my friends brought he for she to high schools, and it spread. It was incredible, yeah. So that is how
Oh,
it all started.
that's amazing, especially with being like so young. Like, how old were you like when you kind of started doing everything?
I guess like 15, probably. Yeah, probably. I would say 15.
Ooh, that's amazing. Like, especially at a young age and like realizing that. Like, I know like a lot of people, especially at like 15 years old, like don't realize like what feminism, gender bias, and all those terms are. And especially with having that conversation with was your brother, right? You said?
Sorry?
Was that like did you have the conversation with your brother or
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My little brother.
Especially with having like the conversation with your brother, like in like realizing like oh like we do kind of see that thing on TV like where men are always like doing all the hard work while women are being like the mother caregiver like taking care of the family or definition of like a housewife you they'll usually call it and like when they do all these type of things when young girls and women watch those type of things they're like oh I have to be a housewife if these girls are a housewife or a mom or a wife or whatever it is like when they see those girls or women doing those things you're like what like do I have to do that too which is actually crazy because when we watch those TV shows or movies it portrays how much we see or do and like it makes us very much self-conscious in terms of, like what am I going to do I'm older or do I have to do this do I have to do that like it is crazy how much media it really impacts it and to
Yeah.
see like so many women and girls kind of starting to make that change at such a young age and realizing like oh this is something I should do to advocate for because if it wasn't for my voice if I don't use my voice, I don't know what voice I can use it for. Because of course I'm a
Mhm.
woman, so it's like, why not use my voice for such an important cause than this, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally get what you're saying. And the media is just something else, as you said. And again, we were born to this like very globalized and tech-based world in the 21st century. and media plays a huge role in reinforcing the gender bias and gender roles. For example, especially in our country, Turkey, like it's such a stereotype that somehow everyone just owns like big companies
Mhm.
and big businesses, and obviously it's always the man who is in charge, who is
Exactly.
also a little bit stoic, that stereotypical, like, quote unquote, like men. And they're always like living in this massive big mansions, which is obviously not does not reflect the reality. And women don't really work, or even if they do work, they are assistants, or like in a junior position, who most of the time end up being with the main character, who is again the boss, the CEO of the company, the
Mhm.
man who is in charge. And women who are living in those mansions are just always dolled up, and just wandering around the mansion all day with their other girlfriends, and most of the time it's them gossiping about other women and putting each other down, etc. This is like such a brutal
Mhm.
story to tell. It's such a brutal mindset to reinforce, and so stereotypical, while we're trying to do all of these things. So if you're someone who likes watching TV and don't have, like, um other services like Netflix or Disney Plus, etc., like only this kind of content, then this narrative is going to be the only narrative that you see and grow up with, which is very, very alarming. And violence, again, like gender-based violence, is something we see in the media a lot, that are
Mhm.
like embodied in the stories that the shows want to tell, or the movies. And it is just, again, like almost normalizing gender-based violence, saying that, see, this happens on TV, this is normal, this is part of life. Like, yes, it is part of life, part of reality, part of life, but that doesn't mean that it should be. It doesn't mean that it should be happening.
You're exactly right. Like you said it better than I ever could, honestly. I want to ask you, like, did you see the Barbie movie yet?
Oh, are you kidding? I saw it on the first day.
Really?
Yeah.
I literally saw it twice. The movie's actually like seriously amazing. Like I wanted to ask you, like, how did you feel about that movie? Like I know like with a lot of people like have like have like mixed reviews. Like some people like it, some people don't. Like I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel about the movie?
Okay, first of all, I actually really like Barbie. I mean, I liked it my whole childhood. Yes, of
Mm,
course, I get the narrative that it reinforced beauty stereotypes, just, um little waist, blue eyes, blonde. Like, I get that it reinforced beauty standards, and I'm obviously very against it. I've dealt with imposter syndrome and
mm,
eating disorder myself. So obviously 100% agreeing with that. However, when we look at the old Barbie too, it had, classical music, ballet, horseback riding, ice skating, and just friendship and sisterhood sense, and just being good on your own and not necessarily needing a man to solve your problems.
mm.
Like, it had these beautiful, beautiful messages as well. So I think we should talk about those too, not instead, but two. And with the live action Barbie movie, I honestly loved it. And
Mm,
when I look now and see the backlash, I can just say that, yeah, because of backlashes like these, we needed that movie, and we need more movies like that, because
mm.
it's so real. And the message is so beautiful. I mean, I honestly loved it.
Yeah, like I same here. Like I've seen it twice over the last like I think like past like month now. It's seriously like the best movie I've seen like in a probably a long time. It's like I don't know when was the last time there was a movie like Barbie with this mission. I mean, like it's probably been a long time since there's been a movie like that. And I think like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling played the roles very well. I don't think anyone can
Yeah.
play the characters as much better than they can. Like they did it so well. They did it perfect. Like they really
Yeah.
were literally perfect as Barbie and Ken. Like they were such a great duo. And it's like when I saw the movie, like I think every girl, well, maybe not every, but most of them play with Barbie dolls and or kind of knew what Barbie was. And so like with growing up with Barbie and knowing what Barbie was, I was so excited to see this movie. But when I saw the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like it really like bright opened my eyes. Like when I saw it, like it kind of opened my vision a little bit to kind of empower like a female president, female government, female reporter. Like they had everything female. But then later in the movie, I don't want like I hate spoiling things for people, but it's a little spoiler. But it's like when they like towards like the middle end of the movie, they switch the like well Ken switched the government and everything to Ken Dojo House or whatever it's called like that. It's switch it all like
Awesome
Barbie
Watch
Land.
or something like that.
Yeah, and like to literally switched Barbie Land to Ken Land when Barbie was in the real world. And I'm like once that's happening, I'm like, are you serious right now? They had to switch all over to women. Like, are you serious? This always has to happen. But it's like it was really eye-opening to really like what like women had to face in the real world though. Like it was just a great message to see like how much men really like to take things from a woman over it's like the government, reporters and stuff. Like it really was showing like the reality of female roles and stuff like that.
100%. And just adding on, um, when I was a little girl, I honestly had so many Barbies. And I remember just, seeing, oh, this Barbie is a teacher, this one is a doctor, that one is a vet, that one is like an ice skater. And just seeing all of those jobs and like occupations and seeing that as like a woman, you can be anything you want was so powerful to me. I would wake up one day and be like, oh, I want to be this because Barbie is like I'm literally like playing with an astronaut Barbie. Obviously, I want to be an astronaut now. It's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's such a powerful tool to be honest. And just the details of the movie, like I I've only seen it once, but I'm sure there will be more details to catch when I see it for the second time. I think it is a very powerful movie. And Ken's song deserves a Grammy.
Oh, 100%. Like it's they even have like a TikTok dance on TikTok with
Yes,
that song. And I'm
yes.
like, it's like literally the exact same dance moves Ken had to dance in the movie, which I'm
It
like been trying to learn.
I know. Honestly, it's on my Spotify list.
Me
Um,
too. And
maybe I'm the fan
that
base.
song at the end of the movie was it like with Doja Cat or something? No, no, not Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj at the end
Nicki
of the
Minaj,
movie.
yeah.
That song is seriously fantastic. I can never like that song's literally like been on my mind for like the last couple of weeks since I saw the movie.
I know. Ever since the movie came out, every time I work out, it's the only music I can play when I'm
Yeah,
working out, you
same.
know?
Literally same though. But I know this is like a little like different type of topic, but
Yeah.
you recently joined the advisory board for Fast Company. Like, how are you feeling when you joined them? Like, because I know like Fast Company is such a big
Yep.
company, like it's very popular. Like, how did you kind of feel about joining them?
Um, First of all, I'm super excited. I joined the team like around a month ago, so it's still pretty new. And they invited me to be part of their Gen Z advisory board. Again, based in Turkey. We are formed by high school students, university students, young entrepreneurs, and activists all across Turkey. And basically, we will be, contributing to interviews and blog posts, written pieces, or researches, data, etc. And just be part of the editing process and just contributing in any way we can really. and attend panels and just take part as in speaker role or moderator role, etc. So just I feel like Fast Company is very much keen and interested in involving young people and Gen Z to be part of the decision-making processes and really make sure that our voices, our ideas, needs, and demands are included, and we do have a seat at the table, at the decision-making table, which is very, very important, you know, especially as Gen Z, like with Gen Z, the rates of youth participation started rising rapidly, and I feel like we're such a, you know, different generation. We are super aware of what's going on around the world, and I think we are really good at looking at our society and see the reflections, like the global reflections, and see the interconnectedness and the reason and how to find holistic solutions. We're very much aware about sustainability and inclusivity, diversity, equality, and just awareness, being aware. So I'm so glad to see that Fast Company is really taking the lead to make sure that our voices as Gen Z are included in every aspect of life, and especially Fast Company being like, you know, initially a business magazine, a massive business magazine, and Gen Z is now entering the workforce, is an incredible opportunity to show the power that we can have if and when we join forces.
For sure. And to see like a company kind of trying to make change for especially like Gen Z, to have like Gen Z university students, interpreters, like people in Turkey, like to kind of get their ideas on topics, whether it's like gender equality, women empowerment, or climate change, for example. Like when they had Gen Z come in and be part of an advisory board and give them their ideas and opinions, like it shows like how much they care for not only millennial or something, it's hard to say, millennial and Gen Z, and to get both their opinions, to kind of like get their ideas and kind of figure out like, oh, what should Fast Company do to feature for to help Gen Z or Gen equality. It just means a lot to see how much impact and change is going next couple of years, especially in 2023.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And I'm just, again, very excited and honored to be part of this incredible team. I'm very looking forward to see what the future holds.
Yeah, and how does working with the UN Foundation kind of help you develop your skills in your work?
So UN Foundation is just a joy to work with. They're incredible. I'm very active with their Girl Up organization slash movement. So Girl Up was basically started by UN Foundation over a decade ago, if I'm not mistaken, or around those times. And basically the purpose of Girl Up is to help young girls, adults and girls, and to find their inner strength and empower them to speak and like use their voices. And this can be about sports, STEM, social, like how do you say it? Hold on, let me rephrase. And your interests can be around sports or STEM or climate or gender equality. Girl Up finds a way, like creates a very powerful platform and programs for you to advance your skills and knowledge on whatever topic that you're interested in. This can be linking you up with mentors, or taking courses, or giving you funding if you have a project, and just be a part of this beautiful sisterhood and support system too. I mean, the amount of support I've received from my Girl Up family is like around various topics, really. is was just incredible. And I'm so honored that I am like a girl leader there. I'm trying to be very active um, and just participate in any and support in any way that I can, because I feel like especially like UN Foundation and Girl Up are just organizations that really walk the walk rather than just
Mhm.
talk to talk. They are very, open about the things they are able to do, they're not able to do, the things they want to do, and how they can do it. They really are interested in involving us in the process, especially like the girl leaders, and giving you a platform to express your ideas and demands and needs. For example, there was a terrible earthquake disaster in Turkey on February this year, and Girl Up kindly offered me their platform to write up a blog post about the earthquake, my experience, and the things that youth did in Turkey to help the earthquake zone, and the ways that the audience could help. And just, for example, I had the opportunity to do an interview with Laura Taroso, who is just an incredible director, and for her latest movie about my father. And Girl Up again kindly offered me their platform to do this interview and share the work. So it's again just like an incredible organization that I'm
Mhm.
super honored to be a part of.
For sure. Like Girl Up is seriously such an amazing organization. I've been following them for maybe probably a year now, and just the work they're doing and everything they have to offer is seriously so inspiring. And it's just like especially UN Foundation, I've been following them for a long time too, and like both organizations are seriously doing such amazing things, and like I just love how they just give like their platform and people that work for them or advocating for them so many opportunities, which I love.
Yes, same here, same here.
And I know with you were involved with Girls Who Code, right?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
And like I know like me and you kind of talked about this earlier, but like what are kind of some of the kind of basics of coding or like once you guys started, like what are kind of the basics of coding or kind of how to get involved with coding and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is, my parents are both like avid coders.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, my mom is a computer programmer and my dad is a computer engineer. And growing up, I had zero interest in computers and technology and coding because just I was so full of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I was the same exact way, honestly. Like I don't care about one specific thing. I was the same exact way.
exactly. But on high school, I realized that there was a massive gender gap in the extracurricular activities, in more like math-sided, like coding related clubs and like extracurricular activities. They were mainly formed by boys, and the more artistic clubs were formed by girls. So I reached out to my high schools. Again, I was a high schooler back then. Um, the coding team, like the robotics team, Ultimate Robotics. Shout out to you guys. And I asked them what we could do to involve more girls in the team, in the coding team. And they were more than happy to join forces. And together we brought the Girls Who Code movement to Turkey. And with that movement, we also started Girls Who First campaign, which was a social media campaign that encouraged young women, especially who were involved in the STEM field and their own, like just posting from their own field work. And with when you would like click on that hashtag, you were able to see hundreds of young women all across Turkey who are doing engineering, robotics, and coding, and just science. And it was like a support system, kind of like a sisterhood sense, just saying that you're not alone, we got you. And with Girls to Code, we did so many like workshops and seminars and forums, and we brought even like CEOs or managers from big tech companies and invited them to our school to give us like kind of lectures almost, or do meet and greets with other people, other girls. And our main purpose was to basically show them what a scientist could look like, and they could be one of them, and just encourage them to participate in science and teach them the basics, the most basics of coding, because I know Python like a very basic, like the beginner's level Python myself, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't be involved in these kinds of movements, because although I'm not very tech savvy and very interested in coding, there are literally thousands of young girls all across the country who are interested, and they have the skills, and they are like naturally talented, but
Yeah.
they cannot participate and just advance their skills and work because they're not given the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not fair. We need to do something.
Yeah, and also I know like a lot of girls don't have a mentor. I know as
Yeah.
well because like when they girls are interested in like STEM or robotics and stuff like that, like they might be interested but don't know how to learn that stuff or even have a mentor to get into fields. I know with mentors, like I know with Ichi girls are all about mentorship. And so like with having a mentor, it changes everything, the way you go into your career field, learning, getting opportunities. Like having a mentor really changes everything, no matter if you're in STEM, robotics, sports, whatever it is, mentorship is very important. And even especially in STEM, like STEM, there's not a lot of girls in STEM or robotics and or ideas that are surrounding it. So it's very important to get girls, no matter what age, in high school, elementary school, college, or etc. Like it's very important for girls to get into STEM, and we just need more women, and especially in the media or girls like you to advocate for that, to kind of get more girls involved.
I could not agree more. And with like, as you said, mentoring is so crucial in my opinion. And I am very lucky to be a part of the executive board of ETRA Girls, which is all about mentoring and linking you up with mentors and with powerful, incredible, successful women who have been through this.
Yeah.
So if anyone is like looking for any mentoring program or support in that sense, I would highly recommend reaching out to ETRA Girls. They are also a wonderful, fantastic organization to work with.
For sure. And like the last thing I wanted to ask you before we head off is how can people contact you or learn more about you?
So you can always follow me on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. But if you want to reach out to me personally, I'm very active on email. Something I should work on for my mental health and well-being. But you can reach out to me on email, and you can find it on my Instagram bio, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I'm always more than happy to connect with other people. And if you have any questions or requests and anything, you can always reach out to me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And everyone, thank you so much for coming on and listening. I really, really appreciate this and having you listen. This episode was seriously amazing. I love getting to chat with you. I hope everyone kind of learned as much as I did in this episode. If anyone has any questions regarding this episode, feel free to reach out to me or Selin, and we'll answer all the questions you have. And yeah, thank you for listening, and thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it so much.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you so much for this wonderful interview and for the invitation. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.